Hello, and welcome to episode 11 of Sleep Startle, a podcast by me, Maya Carlton. And today I've got an especially short one for you, but I think the after story is going to be a bit longer, so I hope you'll stick around and listen for that as well. Take a walk for a talk. Finals, leading cause of suicide. The poster read. It was forcibly nailed into a eucalyptus tree. Quinn thought it was a bit on the nose, but nonetheless accurate. Finals week had beaten him down until there was nothing left, except he still had one final left. The worst of all, calculus. Differential equations were meaningless to him as an anthropology major, and it showed in his grades. A perpetual disappointment to his Asian mother, but a godsend to his father, Quinn was confused more than anything. The test was hard, and Quinn knew he failed. He thought about standing up and ripping the test in half, becoming a social pariah, a god to the internet memes, but instead quietly stood up and handed in his half-finished test. He felt the world caving in, crashing down around him, turning black and blue, the chitter-chatter droning into a gentle hum. His phone went off with a loud bing. Hope your test went well, love you. His doting girlfriend. She was the love of his life. He quickly shot her back a reply. It went great, love you too. Lying was easier than disappointment. He started walking then, with no rhyme or reason, just walking to an unknown destination. He reached a grove of eucalyptus trees and walked through those as well. He finally stopped to take a break, gazing up at the beauty of the bluebird sky, concealed slightly by the long, gray branches of the eucalyptus trees. A light breeze touched his face. It whispered to him. It was a whisper. It had words, arranged in a purely grammatical way, but Quinn realized too late to hear what the words had to say. He peered around the forest, looking for any other human soul, but no one was there, only Quinn and the trees. For a moment the whole world swayed and took on a yellow tint. He felt nauseous and quickly found his way to the ground, although the ground didn't feel safe. It was chaotic and loud, with voices yelling at him in every direction. Failure, you're better off dead. The world would be fine without you. They all said terrible things. He got up and ran, hands over his ears, but the trees were louder. He tried to scream over them, but their pitch always topped his. He was running in circles, seeing the same poster over and over again, never finding the escape route, lost forever in a small grove of trees. An unjust purgatory. Population 1. The trees have a way of talking people into things. They hold their minds above the world and watch them drop to the depths below. The breeze tussles through their leaves with an omnipresent heaviness, like a body hanging from a noose on a long eucalyptus branch. So there you have it. That one was short, and I was correct on it being short. I thought of it this morning, which was interesting, because usually I don't write all my stories in one day, but this one was quick and easy, and I thought it was a good story, and it's based off of my campus. I go to UCSD, and even though UCSD is right next to the beach, you won't find palm trees, but you'll find groves of eucalyptus trees, and that's because it used to be a eucalyptus farm, and according by law, they cannot cut down any of the eucalyptus trees there, or any of the trees there, and for that matter. So I was just kind of looking around at all the eucalyptus trees, and I thought that that would be a good story about someone getting lost in the forest. And then also, randomly placed around our campus is talking trees, and so they're I think made of some kind of metal. I think just lead, but someone said, I don't know if I believe they're made completely out of lead. I think that would be kind of bad for the people around them, but they're definitely made out of metal, and they have voice boxes in them, and so sometimes in the middle of the night you'll walk past them and you'll hear, like, sometimes they're playing music, other times they're like just having like random chitter chatter, and so it's definitely freaky the first time you hear it, even though it's nothing scary. It's just kind of creepy being alone on a big campus in the middle of the night and there's just trees talking to you. So that's what I based it off of. I thought we'd give it a little bit more of a dark twist. I think that it's important, the message that comes out of it, and some of you, I think it's pretty obvious what the message is. It's about school causing suicides and the stress that's caused by finals or midterms or just anything university related. I think that especially at UCSD, they have a major mental health crisis where there's not enough help and there's constantly people feeling like they'd rather die than disappoint people or get bad grades. And I think that it's a really important thing to focus on, especially in our college system, because we can joke about it all we want that UCSD is UC socially dead or UC super depressed, but it's not funny at the end of the day. It's a terrible system that we're partaking in and allowing to continue. There's students that die every day. There's students that have major freakouts every day, and we look at them and well, maybe not the suicides, but the kids that have freakouts, that's happened while I was at UCSD before, and people just laughed and they made memes and it was hilarious to have a freakout, but those people really needed help. They got pushed to the edge and there was nothing else left for them besides to just smash something and not think of the consequences, because for once they weren't thinking of the consequences, because that's clearly all they had been doing was, if I don't finish this, like, oh my god, I'm gonna get a bad grade and then my parents are gonna hate me, and like, what if I fail out of school, like all these things that are just social pressures, when it's like, I'm just trying to get an education. Why should I be worried about depression and anxiety while I'm just trying to get an education? We need to try and reformat the education system where it's not causing such issues with mental health. I mean, Jesus Christ, do you think it would happen enough? But it clearly hasn't, and so I think more people need to talk about it. So that story was me talking about it, and then this after bit I think is really important. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't ramble a little bit too much at the end here. Let me just shamelessly plug my social at m.x.andra and also the Patreon page if you'd like to support me and help me make these better every single day. Please donate on Patreon, become a Patreon at Sleep Startle, which is what the Patreon is called, because that's what this podcast is. And I'll see you guys next time.